Hello, welcome back. Lodge Sports Podcast. Currently filming Valentine's Day, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to the lovers out there. Probably going to be posted tomorrow, February 15th, so if we miss any breaking news on there, that's just on the post delay. Today, unfortunately, the NFL season's over. Sucks. You guys are muted right now, by the way. I have you muted. I'll put you in. What you want to say? What you said?
I was just thinking about that Eagles fan where he's like, when they were playing the Bucks in the playoffs a couple years ago, and he's like, "We're not over, we're not done fighting," and then at the end it's just like, "The season's over."
I ain't hear no bell. Yeah, dude. I actually before that game, I took a picture with him. Well, I didn't take a picture with him. I had him take a picture of me, my dad, and Trey Thomas, former Eagles offensive lineman. I was like, we're probably the first people who have asked him to take a picture of us and not with us. But yeah, we're gonna go recap the Super Bowl, kind of talk about what we picked on our last show and how those fared. Gonna get into a little bit about the Mahomes legacy. Gonna go into Brock Purdy. Yeah, Brock Purdy, we said. 49ers. And then little NBA stuff, little MLB headlines. Should be a fairly quick show today, I guess. I don't know. We tend to talk a lot about random stuff. Like I'm ranting right now. So, Ara, why don't you open us up here?
All right. So to get us started, for today, get a little loose. Hypothetically, you are at a basketball court. You have one half. Whoever team loses, that half gets just Thanos snapped out of the universe. You go stand on their side. So who are you taking? The Muppets / Sesame Street or the Looney Tunes to win the basketball game?
You're talking about one of the greatest basketball movies ever made? Like the Looney Tunes? Like, come on now.
How do you not pick the Looney Tunes?
You have to pick the Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
They don't got the size, bro.
Dude, I don't think
How
that
big are the
matters.
Muppets? What do you
Dude, Big Bird in the post,
Who
Cookie
is-
Monster.
Who is stopping the Tasmanian Devil from, like, wrecking all of them?
But, like, yeah, there's a basketball movie. They had fucking Michael Jordan on their team. They don't get
Bro,
Michael Jordan on their
I
team
know
now.
you didn't forget that Lola Bunny was a bucket.
Yeah, but dude, I've never seen Sesame Street nor the Muppets play basketball. I've seen Looney Tunes
Yes.
play basketball in a big game with high stakes.
High stakes,
Yeah,
high
but I'm
stakes.
saying, like-
NBA player talent. They played.
I'm
Hall of
talking about,
Famers.
like, the characters, like, actually playing a basketball game. Like,
Yeah,
They're
but
like-
I don't think you can just disregard the fact that the Looney Tunes have that championship
they don't
DNA.
get, like, they don't have that championship DNA anymore, bro.
Why? You can't just take that away from them. They're still the same
They
characters.
don't have Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is championship DNA.
They also just played with LeBron too. They've played
Scotty-
recently.
That's true.
Is Scottie Pippen not championship DNA without
No.
Michael? What
No.
about Dennis?
He
What
went
about
to
Steve
Portland.
Kerr?
No.
They all like.
No.
I think that's a no-brainer.
No,
I think you
dude.
got to take the Loonies.
yeah.
If, like,
gotta
you
take-
put that starting five from the Sesame Street / Muppets, like, you got Elmo at point. Elmo's got some long-ass arms.
Dude, that no.
Big
This
Bird.
is outrageous.
Yeah, you're
Big-
not selling me on
Big
that.
Bird,
You're not
Big Bird
selling
in the
me.
post. Cookie Monster at the 4. That's like that. Cookie Monster literally is Rodman. Oscar the Grouch at small forward. Dude,
Oscar
they're-
the Grouch is a literal cone. He's sitting in a garbage can.
Yeah.
Dude, the old grandma on the bench would outplay Oscar the Grouch.
No, you guys are sleeping on the Sesame Street. /
You're on an
Muppet
island
squad.
by yourself. On that
Ernie
Yeah,
and
you are.
Bert, bro, coming 6-man. Bert, Ernie starting at the 2. Like,
You are on your own there, Ara, and you were also on your own with our Super Bowl picks.
it's true.
It's a great segue.
Dude, I'm getting good at this.
That's pretty solid.
So Ara was the only person on this sitting in this row to take the 49ers. Did you bet on them?
No,
What'd you bet on?
a lot of player props.
Oh, okay. I like
And-
the player props, but I said it last time, and I'll say it again, and I'm probably going to put a future on it this year. Just always take the Chiefs whenever you can, I feel like. Because why bet against Mahomes in a big game like that? And that's I will give kudos. I got that from listening to Big Cat on PMT. He was like, I don't want to sit here the Monday after the Super Bowl and feel stupid that I bet against Pat Mahomes. I was like, you know what? That's a great philosophy. So I did that, and I made some money.
Congrats.
What do you got to say for yourself, Era? No remorse?
Dude, the 49ers played a good game. Like,
That's it?
I mean,
That's all you know.
That's all he's got.
it was a good game, bro. Like, I don't like Patrick Mahomes is great, but like, I think the bigger story is Dre Greenlaw. That might be the most gruesome injury to happen in a big game.
I don't know about most gruesome, but definitely the baddest beat.
Well, because like you think like Kevin Ware was probably like the most like bad looking
That's the most
injury.
gruesome you've ever seen.
Yeah, but like in terms of like stakes, like dude, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, so
Who
my
are
boy,
you talking about? Dre Greenlaw?
yeah, he's just jumping and then just plants and it just goes.
It
like,
is
that's,
unfortunate.
Like that's tough.
Who
And-
did the grass for the Super Bowl? Was it the Sod Father again?
No, he retired.
Oh,
It
did
wasn't
he
the
retire?
grass, dude. He just didn't even. I don't even know what to say. I'm literally losing words trying to talk about what happened because he literally was just jumping, planted, and it was gone.
I think there's a conspiracy to be had about the Chiefs and the grass that they've been playing on. I think there's something to be said about it, dude. Just a torn Achilles, just on the sideline. I don't know.
And first team All Pro linebacker.
A guy who's been like getting off, planting, going side to side on all year.
So anyway, cheers up to Dre Greenlaw. Oren Burks comes in the game. 49ers are still winning. Here's how he did in coverage. 9 targets, 9 catches allowed, 1 touchdown, 134.7 passer rating when targeted, and 32.1 PFF coverage grade.
So now you know what it feels like to have James Bradbury as a cornerback.
I was going to say about the Eagles, that sounds like Nicholas Morrow against the 49ers in
Yeah.
Week 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's unfortunate for the Niners. There's not like an ounce of me that does feel bad for them. I feel a little bit bad for Dre Greenlaw. I wonder if the Chiefs bringing Big Dom onto the sideline spread a little bad juju onto him.
Yeah, maybe. That's crazy.
But yeah, like it just like goes to show like how impactful linebacker play is when you're looking at a team like the Eagles who have bad linebacker play.
Just continue to neglect the linebacker position. It sucks.
Like
And when you're playing against the greatest tight end in football, that's when you need your linebackers the most, I feel like. But
yeah.
yeah, that came back to bite him. in the
Probably
ass.
wasn't a coincidence that Kelsey had 92 yards in the second half.
Who else went down for the Niners? There was an O lineman, right? And then that's who John Feliciano was blaming
Yeah.
for that play getting blown up.
Which
with
is
Chris Jones.
crazy.
That guy is a piece of shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He crossed the line.
Yeah, that was
He
pretty
crossed the
fucked up.
line, and he's probably done it more than just the 2 times that have come up.
Yeah.
Like in the past week, like in the past 2 days. So
Yeah, it's stock down on John Feliciano right now, for sure. Stock up probably on Jason Kelsey getting blasted at the Super Bowl party.
Dude.
El luchador.
That was crazy.
Yeah, there is no greater contrast in that video. I'm sure everybody's seen at this point of fucking Travis sucking Taylor's face, and you pan over, and it's just Jason having the time of his life on the DJ stand.
That one and the video where Travis is putting the jacket on Taylor,
Yeah.
and Jason just pops into frame, and everyone's like, when your custom character comes into a cutscene.
Yeah, no, he's he's an animal.
Yeah, those videos were great. Going a little bit more into the Super Bowl, like I said, I wanted to get into Mahomes and the Brady, the GOAT conversation. I know we were talking about this a little bit pre-pod. I think the only hope for the rest of the league is that after Brady went back to back, winning his 3rd Super Bowl, would he wait 10 years to win another one?
Should.
I mean, you have Eli Manning to thank for that. That's
Yep.
true. Maybe Joe Burrow can be that.
Yeah.
Or Josh Allen might grow up.
Dude, I root for the Bills so hard, man,
Yeah.
and they just can't do it.
The thing that's like crazy, and obviously I'm a big Brady guy, but like one thing that I gained a lot of respect for in terms of Pat Mahomes this year was like the reason Brady took so long to get back, other than Eli Manning, because obviously that's an obvious reason, but like he had to completely revolutionize his game, like who he was as a quarterback, and then 2, the team around him like completely changed and altered, just the psyche, everything. And I think Patrick Mahomes, the change that we've seen from when he won his first Super Bowl as like a gunslinger, obviously Tyreek has a lot to do with that, but to where he's at now, where he's like embraced the fact that I'm going to be a game manager. I'm going to take the checkdowns. I'm going to take the 7 to 12 yard routes. And that's what won him the Super Bowl, I think, with these limited weapons. So to see him already kind of making that transfer and ownership on his style of play is a scary thought, I think, for what's to come.
I agree with that. I think if you look at most quarterbacks who are Hall of Fame quarterbacks or have long and good careers, every quarterback at one point or another is going to go through that time where that team that they started out with changes. Look at Favre. Like, he had Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, Jermichael Finley as his weapons. They all leave. He never makes it back.
You talking about Aaron Rodgers, you mean?
Yeah, like the Packers never make it back once the team changes. Like, some quarterbacks just can't get back. Like, that first team was the team, like that first core group was the group of guys. Same with Big Ben. Big Ben had Antonio Brown and all
Dude,
those
they
other
just
guys.
ran into the Patriots.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They could just never field a team
Can I
to
add
make it back.
one last thought to that real quick?
Of course.
I think one thing that enabled Tom, though, like for so many years, and once again, this sounds weird because I'm knocking him, but like Tom's division was what the NFC South is now. Like, Tom's division was almost a guaranteed playoff spot every single year. Didn't matter whether they were winning Super Bowls or not. They were getting to the playoffs because of that division. I think if you, like, flip it on its head and look at the Chiefs, Harbaugh is now in L.A. They still have Justin Herbert. I mean, he's a damn good quarterback. You don't know where that franchise can go. You have Antonio Pierce taking over in the Raiders. I don't think they're an immediate threat, but I'm just saying there's threats for them within the division. I wouldn't say they're necessarily always a guaranteed winner. And then even in the AFC, like you alluded to, Allen and Burrow, I think that's greater competition than what Brady had in Rivers, Manning.
That's a hot take.
I think that. I seriously think that. Like,
I think the only real competition was in the AFC was Peyton and Roethlisberger.
and Rivers. I mean, I would say Rivers had a few good years. Roethlisberger, yeah, I forgot Roethlisberger, definitely. But I think that combination, Peyton, Roethlisberger, and Rivers, is lesser than what Allen, Herbert, and Burrow is going to be when it's all said and done.
Well, I
Throw
think
Lamar
that-
in there, C.J. Stroud.
And Lamar, yeah. And Lamar, C.J. Stroud. I mean, shit, we can go on and on
Yeah, we
about
could go on and on about like guys they had to play too. Like,
Yeah.
No, that's
obviously
it, though. That's
like,
it.
Like Ben and like Peyton sorted themselves out from that group, and Phillip. But it's like Andrew Luck was in there. Like, guys like that, like, we just don't talk about now because they like didn't separate themselves from the pack, and that's where we see right now. Like, obviously C.J. Stroud and them. C.J. Stroud, and we could talk about like Tua even. It's just like it's one of those things. It's like when we look back like 20 years from now, you're not going to be like, wow, that AFC just had a hell of a lot of great quarterbacks. You know?
Your point, like you just said, like they didn't separate themselves from the pack. So like why like they don't like matter?
I feel like if I'm understanding your point correctly, I feel like you're kind of that's kind
making
of
our point.
making the case for Mahomes because he has more competition, kind of,
Like,
is what you're alluding
these
to.
guys haven't separated themselves from the pack. Like Andrew Luck, very talented, never did anything. Couldn't really separate himself besides the fact that we said he got injured and could have been all-time great.
Andrew, yeah,
But he never did anything on the field.
Just to give like
that's a crazy take.
quick stats. Ben Roethlisberger, unless I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he ever won an MVP, did he?
No, I don't believe he did.
No. Okay, so Peyton's Peyton, obviously. Phillip never won MVP. Right now, just in the AFC, yeah, double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Right now, just in the AFC, Lamar's won twice. Patty Mahomes, obviously MVP. Do we agree Joe Burrow is probably going to win an MVP in his career?
Definitely can.
Do we agree that Josh Allen's probably going to win an MVP in his career?
Definitely can.
So that's three other guys right there in the AFC at his prime that are peaking while Pat Mahomes is peaking. To me, that's greater level of competition. As a Brady guy, that's greater level of competition.
Yeah, so that's just making Mahomes' runs more impressive.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I think it's also saying that it could kind of falter it at some point as well if these teams kind of step up to the plate because we know the NFL is cyclical. Eventually, you would think that somebody's going to finish them out.
I get you.
So can I say this? Because I know you wanted to talk about where you put Mahomes, Sean. Where do you put Mahomes compared to Peyton?
He's got to be ahead of him right now. He's got 2 MVPs. What did Peyton have? 4, 5?
Peyton.
I think he had 2 or 3.
Yeah, I would say 2 max.
I'm going to double check that.
No,
right
he has
now.
the most.
Yeah, I
Does
was
he?
gonna say Peyton's got a decent amount.
I thought
Yeah.
Rodgers had the most.
It's like the
Rodgers is
NBA type
4.
thing where like Brady was winning the championships and he's
Oh, wow, 5.
Oh, yeah,
5.
five.
You're
Yeah,
right, Sean.
yeah.
It was
5,
like
yeah.
that thing where it was like, yeah, Peyton, thanks for showing up. you're not going to beat the Patriots. It's
Oh
like,
03, 04.
It's like Josh
08,
Allen.
09.
Yeah, I would not have
but I'm
known.
saying like the MVP like in any league now is like kind of a joke because it's like, okay, yeah,
But
congrats.
20
you-
years ago, Peyton won it when it was like.
Yeah, 03, 04, 08, and 09.
But I'm just saying like the thing of the MVP is like, even in like basketball now, you see it, you're like, oh, thanks for coming out. You know, like you did this.
Here's what I'll say. I think, at the very least, you have to put them on the same level. I
I agree.
put them. I right now. I'll give it to Manning just because of the longevity standpoint. You know, like I think longevity plays a real factor. So as long as Mahomes keeps on the track, he'll blow by him.
But the bottom line is Patrick Mahomes doesn't give a fuck about the MVP award. I mean, you
Yeah.
saw like obviously he had one of his worst regular seasons this year, and then come the playoffs, that was vintage Mahomes. That's exactly what we're used to seeing. If he just does that every year, who gives a fuck if he wins 2 MVPs that he's already got? But then he goes on and wins. Kind of going into my next point, let's say the guy goes out and wins 8 Super Bowls. Like then he's got to be ahead of Brady, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
No
if
doubt.
he
Yeah.
wins 8 Super Bowls,
Yeah,
No doubt.
yeah.
No
like
doubt.
that's where I'm at right now is given the fact that Brady is 2-0 against him in the playoffs and in a conference championship game and a Super Bowl, if they tie with 7,
Brady's
I give the
GOAT.
edge to Brady 100%. If Pat Mahomes ends up having the most Super Bowl victories of any quarterback, then I'm giving him the edge. And that's Brady had how many Super Bowl MVPs
10.
did Brady
Oh,
have?
Brady had 4.
Because I know Edelman won one. I think.
Branch, Edelman.
4, yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
so-
no, 5.
Five.
Branch and Edelman
Five.
were the only 2.
And Mahomes is 3 for 3 right now.
Yeah.
So if Mahomes doesn't win another Super Bowl MVP but wins 8 Super Bowls, I think I give it to him.
Yeah, I would say, too, just like food for thought on that note is like Tom took 10 Super Bowls to win 7, obviously. Patty's already lost a Super Bowl. So for him to get to 8, he needs to reach a minimum of 9 Super Bowls. Like,
Yeah.
that is just, I know that it's been done, but like that's just a insane thing to grasp your mind around.
And
And I would have to assume that somebody else besides Tom Brady is finally going to come along at some point in his career and beat Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
you're saying I think he's at least got to get to 10, if
Okay.
not 11 or 12,
Okay.
for that to be a conversation. That's my take on it. And I agree with Sean, he has to win 8. If he doesn't win 8, then we're not having a discussion. He could win 7 Super Bowl MVPs. If he doesn't win 8 Super Bowls, it's not a
Because then you're
discussion.
going to the head-to-head discussion.
Hey, you have to. I
Yeah.
don't see how you don't. You know what I mean? So, we'll see.
Anybody else have anything they want to add to that? I think we kind of covered the bases there.
No. The Bucks did beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
That would be Tom Brady.
Going to the other side,
31.
there's a quarterback on the other side getting a lot of praise right now for what it was a pretty good performance. I wouldn't put it up there with the best. I'm going to pull up something on the TV right now for you guys. If there we go. Let's cooperate here. Whoop. Let's open up now. Oh, it's on here. Sorry. Okay, I made this graphic last night. Shout out to Kickly.net. We're going to do a quarterback comparison. So quarterback on the left and quarterback on the right. We'll go quarterback A, quarterback B. Let's just take a glance at those stats. Not going to name any names, but you guys can probably assume where I'm going with this.
LOL.
Oh, boy.
Um,
oh, brother.
On the biggest
Who
stage,
could this be, Era?
I'm not gonna lie, it took me a second.
what quarterback are you guys taking here?
The
one on the right.
My God.
the one on the right doesn't turn the ball over.
I
might have happened to be a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
I threw you guys a bone on this one, but
Yeah, can we put in the fact that the turnover generated 6 points immediately?
And it was equivalent to like Jameis Winston against Oregon just losing the ball.
we can do that. I probably should have put up how many points their defenses gave up.
So give the right team another 7 points, and that puts them at 29, and the other quarterback still outscored him.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, unbiased opinion. Who do you guys take here?
Yes, if you want me to feed into the narrative that you're harnessing here, yes, I would take the guy on the left. Just looking at those stats.
Yeah, I'm like, but
But
what happened on that turnover?
Okay, if that's all you got,
Yeah.
let's just move on.
And what happened this year?
So I like this.
Let's
I
not
like,
start a 15-minute argument when we have.
I like to
30
put.
camera time.
So I like to be toxic when it fits my narrative because I'm the type of guy who, like, you know, people came at the Eagles all offseason. And I was like, all over Twitter, I'm like, guys, it's not, you know, why is everybody being toxic towards my team? They put on a great performance. I'm being the most toxic person when it comes to the 49ers and Brock Purdy right now. That's why I pulled up those stats. Brock Purdy's being praised right now for putting on a good performance in the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, I mean, you just see those stats I put up there. One quarterback had a much better game. And is kind of hated across the NFL right now. I'm not sure why.
Because he's corny as frick. He's corny as frick.
That's okay. You can say fuck. But yeah, his other guys didn't step up. Kittle didn't step up. Ayuk, Debo. So that was unfortunate for him. Christian McCaffrey. I guess if we're going off this narrative, Christian McCaffrey fumbled away the Super Bowl.
You can make that argument. I mean, I think back to your original question, I think a lot of it has to do with the pedestal that you Eagles fans put Jalen Hurts on. And obviously we've seen that he doesn't quite deserve that statue yet. I also think, I want to defend Brock. I also think he's got a fair share of criticism leading up to this point and still continuing on. Yeah, I think people probably put some roses up at his feet after the Super Bowl just to kind of like be nice to the guy, but the whole narrative leading up to that was like, this dude's a game manager. It was like you either think he's a top 5 quarterback or he's a game manager. So I don't necessarily think people are just praising him now out of the woodworks, but I get your point and where you're going with it.
No, Purdy did exactly what everyone said he did. He played a good game. The difference between him and Mahomes, Purdy had. And I'm looking at the legs. Like, you want to talk about a game changer? The legs are where it's at, really. Purdy went 3 for 12 carries, rushing yards. Mahomes went 9 for 66. Mahomes moved the ball down the field with his legs. He was able to scramble. I think also that McCaffrey was kind of like Jalen Hurts last year. Really helped his team. Touched the ball 30 times. 160 yards and a touchdown. But once again, like Jalen, played great games. That fumble, though, is just costly. Turnovers is what loses you.
Looms large.
Yes.
Like, when it comes down to it, you might not lose a regular season game on a turnover, but you're sure as shit going to lose a postseason.
However, the 49ers defense did force a turnover as well, and their offense couldn't capitalize on it. Yeah. Whereas, for my guy, number one, his defense didn't do him any favors. And neither did his special teams.
Okay, yeah. Well, the 49ers special teams blunder was
that
lost
was rough.
the Super Bowl.
That was rough.
That's what lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's
and also,
deep play.
I kind of opened that up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Absolutely did.
One thing too, like the 49ers, you wake up on Monday and you're like, Jake Moody put some height on that extra point. They are up 20-19.
Yes.
That extra point, dude.
And we don't go to overtime.
Yeah, the game's over.
They go for 2, but still, like
you force the Chiefs to go for a touchdown at the end.
Is this turning into Brady, Mahomes? Mahomes now is starting to get some excuses.
Well,
lucky breaks for Super Bowl wins.
It feels
holding
like
call last Super Bowl, missed extra point this Super Bowl.
It feels like though. Like, if Mahomes and the Chiefs needed to get a touchdown on that last drive, they just would have gotten it. Like, that's what the Chiefs have come down to at this point. It's when it comes down to the biggest moments and the biggest stages, they just get it done.
Yeah. I think, like what you're saying, Jack, I get where you're going, but I think there's a immeasurable, like, Brady/Mahomes effect on the other team. Like, if you let these guys hang around long enough, your palms get sweaty, what's coming down the pipe. I think that's more so what it is, what you're referencing, than anything else. I just think teams know, like, oh, we're fucked. Like, if we let these guys hang around, we're not going to win this football
game. Kind of to that point, dude, I didn't have this in my notes, but this was something that I've been thinking. Every Super Bowl that the Chiefs have won so far, they've been down 10 points, and it just seems like they just hang around, at least in the first half. It's kind of like a feeling out process, and then Andy goes into that locker room at halftime. He cooks, and then he comes out, and he just has all the answers for what you did right in the first half.
Absolutely. And I think it puts the pressure on the opposing coach. It's like, are you now just going to run the ball into the ground and try and take time off of the clock, or are you going to continue to do what's brought you to that point? And we've seen every coach has decided, I'm going to continue to do what's brought me to this point, and that is what has led to their demise. Like, I think if Kyle Shanahan comes out, they get the ball back off the interception, and they go 3-and-out with 3 passes. How do you not give McCaffrey the ball there? Not once.
You opened the game running the ball with McCaffrey every time.
The 49ers did lose the game in the third quarter.
You went away from your game plan, you lost.
You lost.
Yeah.
And it showed because when you went to overtime and you had that drive, who had the ball in their hands? It was Christian McCaffrey. Because at that point, you know, that tells you who his faith is in, and it's in Christian McCaffrey. But prior to that, like Era said, he had gone away from what had got that team there, and that's what cost him the football game.
Sorry.
No, that's it. That's what I had to say.
As you see in the playoffs every year, teams that like to run the football and go into the playoffs and start throwing the football lose.
Yeah.
That's what the Ravens did in the AFC
lose.
Championship.
Yeah,
And
they ran
now-
the ball 6 times.
Yeah. And now I liked what you said, and I'm going to spin it a little different way. You said coaches do what gets you to that point, and it leads to their demise, right? Now, if you're the Niners and you have 2 guys who are eerily similar, Jimmy G and Brock Purdy, do you stick with the game manager that got you to that point, a good solid quarterback, or do you go get that guy that could put Mahomes potentially into the ground and not let them stick in that game? That's what the Niners have to decide before they pay Brock Purdy.
Just seems like every year with the Niners, like they have the talent, they have Shanahan's offensive scheme, and then they're a quarterback away. Like no matter what, it always comes down to if they just had a better guy who could make 1 or 2 plays for you here and there that's going to change the tide of that game.
Yeah.
But they haven't had that.
I don't know. Like, didn't walk away from this game and say, like, damn, dude, the 49ers are just a quarterback away. Like,
Agreed.
it's like one of those situations where it's like, it's just you're playing Patrick Mahomes on the other side. Like you want, like when the Bills lose every year to the Chiefs, do you walk away saying like, man, the Bills are a quarterback away? Like, no, Patrick Mahomes is just better than Josh Allen.
That's exactly right.
That I don't think.
But Allen is near Mahomes' level. Purdy is not.
I would like to clarify, I don't think the 49ers should move on from Brock Purdy. He guy's 23 years old, was the last pick in the draft, and has already proven himself in this league. And I don't think he's a bad quarterback, especially for that system and that team. However, to the point of like walking away from the Bills-Chiefs games and being like, oh, the Bills are just a quarterback away, it's like Josh Allen is the reason they're in those games every time. Yeah. And I can't say the same for Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think, too, like it's important. Last thing I'll say, but like I think the game plan and the lack thereof or going away from the game plan for the opposing team is what has won Patrick Mahomes 3 Super Bowls. Like, yes, this was his Super Bowl. This was his defining the Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl. First Super Bowl, he throws over 300 yards. Like, this was his. Not trying to take that away from him. But if you look at Shanahan on the sidelines throughout the year, that guy's relaxed. You can see it in his face. He's confident in what he's doing. He's relaxed. He's hanging in there. This Super Bowl, the dude was uptight. You could see it in his face, his cheeks. He's stressed out. And that's just the effect that comes with playing Patrick Mahomes. And I think that's honestly, more credit to him than anything else. But these were all winnable games for these opposing teams that he's played. And, it just comes down to one team has Patrick Mahomes, like Eric was saying.
Here's the thing. As a third-party person looking at this, and seeing that article come out saying that Shanahan told Purdy that if Brady came to the Niners, he would bench him, I think that tells you all you need to know. They were looking for a better option earlier this year, and they still got to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, at that point, I think you say, like, why not go? We have a lot of our positions are the best in the NFL, like talent-wise. Why not go get a more talented quarterback to help out our team and really go all in?
To that Tom Brady point, though, how many contenders this year, if Tom Brady comes up to you and is like, I'll come out of retirement to play for you this year and I'm going to win you a damn Super Bowl, how many contenders are saying no to that?
I think more than you think.
You think?
Especially after the way
but I think
the 2022
the Niners,
season went.
I think if you're the Dolphins, you take Tom over Tua.
But just to have that pedigree, dude, like if you just bring...
you take...
Yeah, but your whole point in your offense is to push the ball down the field. You're going to take a 46-year-old, whatever he is, 45, 46-year-old guy out of retirement and just throw your arm off the football.
Well, I think it's... You bring in Tom, if you're a team that's iffy on your quarterback, whether you like he's the guy or not, you bring in Tom. You're successful with Tom, and he's coaching your guy for the next year if Tom retires after that. It's a learning.
But
Go ahead, Eric.
you watched 2022 and it was not good. Like
It was not.
it was not good. Baker Mayfield had a better year, and people were giving Baker flowers. Baker had a hell of a year with a first-year offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, oh, he was better than Tom. Yeah, he was better than Tom. It wasn't hard to be better than
Yeah.
Tom in the last year.
The question wasn't, is it Tom Brady should be taking? It was, should any quarterback?
Do you pin that on Tom though? Last year, as a Bucs fan,
Yes.
Yes, I do too.
The
And
divorce. He missed 2 weeks of training camp. Byron Leftwich, he was a hell of a play caller for Jameis when BA was there. The Super Bowl run, he got it. Byron took the leads. Byron also took the sword.
it's
Yeah.
interesting that we're on this topic right now on Valentine's Day because Tom Brady overcame so much in his career, and the one thing he couldn't overcome was love.
Literally.
That's true.
That is
Yeah,
true.
Poor guy. But yeah, I think to build off of what Eric was saying, one of Tom's best attributes that he always had throughout his career is his movement within the pocket. He's not a mobile quarterback, but that guy had mastered how to move around and avoid pressure in the pocket. When you take that away from him at age 44 or 45 and you get pressure around his feet, he is average. He was average. I mean, he was below average last year.
And he also would he would go down.
Yeah, and he would go down at nothing. He's seeing ghosts. I don't know how you put that on film and then as a GM or exec in the NFL look at that and say that's the answer to our problems. I love Tom Brady more than anybody, but I just don't see how you look at that and go, there we go, boom.
It is definitely easy for us to sit here without having watched all 22 film of Tom Brady last year and be like, yeah, of course you take Tom Brady.
I mean, I watched every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah, obviously.
It wasn't pretty at all.
But also to segue our way back to the Chiefs and speaking on NFL officiating, I think there is definitely some explaining to do because Donovan Smith, 2022 Tampa Bay Buccaneers left tackle, got let go by a team because he had led the league in holding penalties. He had 7 holding penalties, 12 total. This year, Kansas City, 4 flags the entire season. This was the lowest amount of flags he got all year. And there's videos of him every week just bear hugging. The Chiefs, in their 3 Super Bowl wins, have a combined, guess how many holding calls?
0.
0.
Really? Zero,
Zero.
holding calls?
Yes.
Oh,
I like
boy.
to see
0.
how many Brady had and see if we can.
That's not good for
That's not
It's
good.
That's not good for
league
the
at all.
NFL.
That's
No.
not good.
For the league at all.
Oh man, the script crowd is going nuts.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No,
crazy.
it's not good.
And that's I normally don't have a problem with it if it's but Donovan Smith literally got flagged for over 100 yards the previous season in holding penalties or just something stupid. And he
Yeah.
goes to Kansas City where they have the angel in the quarterback and he just magically just becomes
And
doesn't get penalties.
The dude's running outside the tackles every play.
Yeah.
There's no way nobody on that interior line is holding somebody. There's no way.
The last thing I want to get into here regarding the Super Bowl in the NFL is the overtime. Clearly, I mean, the 49ers have come out and said, and I have it down as them complaining just because they're a whiny fan base and a whiny team. But how do you not have your team prepared for the overtime rules? People have been talking about, imagine if the 49ers scored a touchdown on that drive and they stormed the field.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
That would have been hilarious.
That's a penalty, and you just screwed yourself.
I kind of wish that happened. I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see the joy and then the immediate heartbreak on Deebo Samuel's face.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
We talk about Kyle Shanahan blundering everything in game. That was a blunder before the game even started.
Do you
not
think-
having your team ready? You and Ice Spice finding out the OT rules at the same time is not good.
No, that's not good.
Do you think he was serious that the reason he took the ball first was so they had a chance to score third? Because
No.
I feel like
No.
that's just him reconciling the fact that he had no idea
No,
that the Chiefs got the ball no matter what.
no.
Yeah.
I think it's just
You got to kick the ball off of you in the toss.
Because
Yeah,
the Chiefs clearly, I mean, they've talked about it. They said Andy pulled up the overtime rules before every single game in this postseason.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you haven't heard that about the Niners and Kyle Shanahan.
When you look up and you see it on the jumbotron, I think you got to go tell your guy, hey, we want to kick the ball off.
I mean,
you gotta go and you gotta go fix
And
that right away.
we also saw the direct impact of it right away. If the Chiefs get the ball first, they had 4th and 1 from their own 34-yard line. Like,
they were going for it.
no, well, obviously because they had the ball second. Like, you're playing with house money 4th downs.
No,
like,
Mahomes said
but-
they were going for the touchdown. And the
yeah, because
2-point
they
conversion.
had the ball. That's what I'm saying. If they went first, you probably punt there. 4th and 1 from your own 34-yard line.
It's the Super Bowl.
And they can kick the ball. If you turn the ball over there on 4th and 1, they kick the field goal. Game's over.
Yeah, but I think if you're the Chiefs and you have Patrick Mahomes, you go for that.
That's a fair point. But I'm saying, like, in a lot of situations, like, you don't know what happened. If they get the ball first, like, we could say, oh, they probably were. But
Yeah.
you don't know. Like,
Yeah. To play devil's advocate, I mean, I do agree. I think it was a blunder on Shanahan's part. I don't know how you missed that. But to play devil's advocate, I suppose, his defense was getting torched that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they were gassed.
And they had
right?
just been on the field for, an 11-play, 13-play drive there at the end when the Chiefs scored. I think even though it's a mistake, I think maybe there's part of him or his coordinator at least is saying, like, our guys are gassed. Like, gassed. You've got to go down and get the offense on the field. Let us get some rest. Let us get some juice before we're going to face this offense again. I think maybe that's a conversation that happened just to kind of play devil's advocate there. But still. Even I think Mike Shanahan, who's a Hall of Fame coach, played for the Denver Broncos, still consults Kyle on game plans every single week. How does the two of them not think about talking about the overtime rules?
Look at. I'll tell you exactly where Mike Shanahan went senile. Look when he started in Washington.
Senile, dude.
but to counterpoint what you're saying, after that touchdown, they had the whole coin toss ceremony bullshit, a commercial break.
Yeah.
Like, they had a good
They
4 or
did.
5
They did.
minutes to
They
get some
did,
win.
and the refs described the overtime rules before the coin toss every time.
Yes.
And it's funny too because we're 4 college kids. We're a bunch of stooges. We have, a basic understanding. Well, not a basic, probably better than most of the general public understanding of the game of football. And we watch it a lot, but we're not NFL coaches. But even all of us watching it live, we're like, oh, it's going to be fun to see these new overtime rules.
Yeah.
And then to find out that the team playing the game did not know the rules, and we did, probably 12 beers deep, is insane.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not good.
And then also, I think if you're in that situation, like, obviously looking back, we're saying they didn't know, but you're at what? They were at the 14-yard line or something like that, 4th and 4. Just fucking go for it.
Go for it. You don't want to give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. If you kick the field goal there, you know you're losing anyway.
But it's like, also, like, you're just giving them an extra 15 yards. Like, granted, those kickers now are kicking from 60, but, like, I feel like it's just like, yeah, especially like you're saying, Patrick Mahomes going on the other sideline, being there, like, they're going to go and do what they need to do. Like, and I'm like, just give them the ball on the 14 and hope you can make a play, Like,
It was interesting. We're not going to have time to get into it today. Maybe we could cover it next time. But Jake Moody held the longest Super Bowl field goal for how long? Like 20 minutes real time?
Yeah.
I think it was 20 minutes, like, game time. It was probably like an hour. So
That's
props
funny.
to Jake Moody.
there you go,
Congrats, Jake.
Moody. Congrats, buddy.
Not you, Harrison Bucker. You did it.
I
You
have-
did it second.
I have one final thing I want to cap off the Super Bowl talk. Hey, Debo, we still got something you don't.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
You know what? We'll talk about Fletch next time. I do like that. Just for time's sake, it was a great Super Bowl. I did have fun watching it. I said I was going to hate the game, but I enjoyed it very much.
Oh. Can we get the Jack During review on the Super Bowl? Where's he tearing it? Because if it wasn't a good first quarter, it might have been an all right Super Bowl.
You see, you just can't take a troll, yet you love the troll, and I'm glad you brought that up, buddy.
Why are you slapping me?
I'm
I'm
glad
just
you brought
asking.
that up.
I'm asking a question.
Listen, I got the screenshots. We can edit it into the video. Era tried to use the same exact excuse when I told him that I used on this podcast about the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl, and he was like terrible take. So
what I'm asking you, what are you
I'm
ranking
saying
the Super Bowl?
this was a
Fight.
great Super Bowl. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really paying that close attention to it.
Well, you left.
I
Watch
was
party.
still watching it. I was still watching it at the house. I was still watching it in the living room over here, but I don't know if I would put it on all time, because I feel like all time's a little too loosey goosey. Like, granted, all time, yes, Mahomes back to back.
Overtime.
Yes, overtime. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
and I
all
see you
time.
right
It's
there.
all time.
What's going through your head right here?
I had to talk that one through. It's all time. But yeah, I had to think about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you came around to. Well, wait, hang on. So you said it is all time?
Yeah, it's all
That's
time.
your official answer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
Cool.
just had
Then my quandary with you is deceased.
Yeah, I was looking at your face. You
Yeah.
were getting a little tense.
Yeah, I was gonna go in on you if you didn't
Trust
call
me,
that an
I was
all-time Super
also
Bowl,
like,
but
I was like thinking, I was like, well,
yeah, no.
I was like, well,
We're
this
glad
did happen.
we're glad you
This
saw
did
the
happen.
light, buddy. We're glad you saw the light.
So, yeah, as I said before, football's over and that sucks. Gonna be a while before we can watch a real game again. At least we can get into some off-season stuff. Off-season used to be my favorite time of the year. Still, it might be. It's very fun, but we got some. There's still stuff going on. MLB is right around the corner. NBA is heating up. We're getting towards the All-Star break, and we have a protest in the NBA, and it's one that I think could come to a replay. So the New York Knicks were down 16 at some point in this game against the Houston Rockets. They come all the way back, tied 103-103. I forget who it was on the Knicks. I don't think it was Isaiah Hartenstein. I think it was one of their other centers or big guys. Blocks a layup attempt, bounces back out to Aaron Holiday, who then throws a heave turnaround 35-foot shot to try and win the game in regulation, and Jalen Brunson is up in his face. Refs call the foul. It wasn't a foul. Aaron Holiday goes to the line, shoots 3 free throws, makes 2 of them. Intentionally misses the last one because there was 0.3 seconds left on the clock, and the Knicks get the rebound and call a timeout. Refs grant them the timeout, and then as they're in the huddle, going over how they're going to try and win the game with 0.3 of a second left, the ref goes over the speaker and says that's the end of the game because there's no possible way that you can get a rebound and call a timeout with 0.3 of a second like that. So my take on it, first of all, like I said, shouldn't have been a foul call. The ref even came out and admitted that. I don't understand why Jalen Brunson was guarding that 35-foot heave so closely, just to even put it in harm's way. But it seems like the refs initially tried to make up for that call by allowing the Knicks to get that timeout, because watching the replay of the game, they gave them the timeout before the Knicks even had possession of the ball, which I found pretty funny. So I think that game's going to get replayed, and I looked it up. The last successful game protest came in the 07-08 season. It was the Miami Heat lost to the Atlanta Hawks in overtime. And so what happened was, with about 52 seconds left in that overtime, down 3, Shaquille O'Neal gets called for a foul. Refs foul him out of the game. Turned out the refs had the count wrong, or maybe the scorekeepers, I don't know what it was. Shaq only had 5 fouls. So they fouled him out of the game when he didn't deserve it. Heat protest the game. Months later, NBA comes out. They say, we're replaying the final 52 seconds. My favorite part of this is, in those months from the first game to the replay, Shaquille O'Neal was traded. So when they replayed the game, he was not on the team. And within those final 52 seconds of the replay, nobody scored a point. And the Hawks won 114-111. So it should be fun. I, for one, really hope it gets replayed. I think that'd be a lot of fun to see.
Were there fans there?
Were there fans there? What do you mean?
Like in the replay?
Oh, I don't know. That's a really good question. Because for the Knicks one, they're going to go to overtime, so I could see fans buying tickets. I wonder how much that would cost.
I think it's, if you had a ticket for that game, you can come back in.
Yeah,
I think that's what happened.
There you go. That's the only way you
because
can do it.
also, like, the thing is, I don't like this whole replay, because unless it affects your playoff seeding or your draft seeding, do not replay it.
This could, though, for the Knicks.
Yeah, it could. So wait till the end of the season to figure out if it really matters. And because you're wasting time, money, resources. You're wasting so much to put on, like,
52
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah, like less than a second of play.
But I wonder what the criteria is. Like, is that something that they have to take into account, or is it just, we got it wrong, we have to replay the game?
I don't know what the rule is, but in my opinion, I would wait till the end of the season to figure it out.
As just a fan of seeing weird things happen, particularly in sports, I want to see this happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool to see it happen, but it's like,
Hang on, our camera's beeping. I want to go check this out real quick.
All right.
It's been beeping the entire time.
Has it?
Yes.
Okay. Never mind.
Good. Solid. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I hope.
If
We'll
not,
see.
it's just an audio recorder.
Yeah,
It's just,
I guess
it's recording.
If not, we'll put a loop of Jack dancing over the rest of this audio.
I'd like to see.
Hold
that.
up. It tells us how much time's left. I think it's just like 12 minutes.
You can see that?
14.
It's about right with what
We
you got.
unfortunately don't have the most proper equipment here, but
Yeah.
we have enough. These
Yeah.
mic
We
stands
got
are cool.
enough. We could buy. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun to see it happen. And I know there's, like, technically precedent for it with the whole Shaq thing. But, like, as fans, at least the three of us, sorry, Era, but maybe you are a
I don't
Detroit
care.
fan. I don't know. But the three of us, at least, or, like, people that are watching, as fans of the NBA, the refs get it wrong all the time. I mean, I can't even count how many games I've sat there and watched and thought to myself, we just got beat by the refs. We just lost a game. Thank you
KD
to
stepping
the
out of
referees.
bounds should have replayed that game then.
So it's like, what do you do? Like, you're gonna tell these organizations it's okay if they feel they got cheated by the refs to replay these games left and right? Like, how are you gonna air that on TV? What are you gonna do? Like what we were talking about with the fans, and then even then, it's like, this is kind of like why the NBA is 82 games during the regular season. Like, I get it can come down to one game, but it's like there's 82 games. You can kind of extrapolate that, like,
win another one.
roughly half of the fucking roughly half of the NBA is gonna lose a game here and there based on a bad call. So
Well, games do get protested all the time, which is kind of why I'm rooting to see one eventually get over the hump. But I do understand your point.
I mean, just like actually replaying the game, like
We-
getting to that point of the protest.
then we
process.
we have an official problem in the NBA, and it's been
No doubt.
prevalent for quite some time.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, I just think there's 82 game season. Like, if you're that worried about your seeding, go win some games. Like, put a cushion between you and whoever's behind you. I just think that's tough. I think I'd love to see it, but I just think it's like, how do you manage that,
Wait, you're asking NBA players to actually try for the first quarter of the regular season?
No, I'm just saying, I'm asking NBA players to just go win basketball games later on in the season to put some distance between you and whoever's behind you. Then you don't have to worry about it.
Listen, I don't think the Knicks are going to have to worry about them. And the Cavs are the two hottest teams.
I was actually
Yeah.
going to talk about that. Yeah.
That does, if that puts a damper on the Knicks' current, run, that does suck. Like, imagine after this they just go out and they absolutely stutter and just fall.
Well, actually, both teams just lost then because the Sixers beat the Cavs, and so the Cavs are 17-2 in their last 19. And I know the Knicks are going crazy ever since OG came on board. But
Yeah, I did have some notes. I was gonna kind of touch upon my my Daryl Morey rant, but I'll
wanna
save
go
that for
first,
another
Sean?
time. No, I'll save that for another time. We're
keep the more entertaining one to
Yeah, we
a
talked
less
about a lot
entertaining
today.
To the
pod.
weekend.
Mhm.
yeah. Anybody else? What do we got? We got anything we want to kind of cap up this thing off?
We can mention a few things to look at as pitchers and catchers report today during spring training.
Yeah. Anybody take down some headlines we could talk about? Maybe.
Pop-Tarts inventor Bill Post passed away at age 96.
That's too damn bad.
That
Oh.
is heartbeaking.
R.I.P.,
It is.
brother.
Rest in peace,
Thank
Bill.
You for changing the world for the
Thank you
better.
for the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Was that today or was that?
That was today.
Oh no.
That's too damn bad.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I wanted to say was the Orioles finally got a missing piece that I felt they needed, and that was an ace. The Orioles, we all know the success they had last season. They still have the best farm. They still have the best farm system in the league. But Corbin Burns, that's a great addition for them. That's their ace right there. He didn't have the greatest year last year in Milwaukee, but I think he's a stud. And I think that they're going to win the AL East again. They're going to be another 105-win team, and I can see them actually making some moves this year when it comes to postseason time. But shout out to them because they've been terrible for a while. They were almost moved. I don't know if you guys saw that. This offseason, the owner was looking to sell, and then they were going to move the team. So good for them for sticking through it. It's always darkest before dawn, so it's kind of cool to root them on. But anyways, they'll be studs. They'll be good.
We did indeed. Oh, shut All right, we're having some production issues on my end here towards the end of this. We did indeed lose the camera feed, so that stinks.
Damn.
But
We did, didn't we?
we'll find something to put over that. Anybody else real quick before we hop out?
A.J. McCarron planning to sign with the St. Louis Battlehawks. He was released by the Bengals
Wow.
today.
Let's go, AJ.
And he's going back. The UFL right around the corner.
UFL, we got some stuff to watch.
Beer snakes.
Did you guys see this? Braun almost got traded to the Warriors at
Yeah.
the trade deadline.
That would have been crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Two baseball things. Backing up with Owen. Orioles go to the Yankees, their rival. Juan Soto in a Yankees uniform. That's going to be huge for the AL East and the AL. And then, the World Series champions, the Texas Rangers. Look at their rotation in spring training, because with DeGrom and Scherzer out until the middle of the season, it's going to be hard for them
That's
to
a
get
good
back
point.
to the playoffs, let alone to the World Series, if those two guys are not. And if Jordan Montgomery doesn't come
That's a
back.
good point. Eric, your man Kevin Cash got extended. You see that, bro?
And the GM, Neander. Good for them. Super excited. Opening day can't come soon enough.
All right. Well, guys, I think
All right, I'm
this
good.
was very insightful.
Yeah.
We'll get this production stuff sorted out. This is a work in progress, all right? We're still new at this.
We are.
We're going to get better.
If you have any hate comments, direct them at Jack. He's our PR
Oh, I
manager.
will answer them all.
You don't have any social media.
He'll be using the official page.
I'll be using, yeah, I will be using the official. I will mark every comment with Jack. So you
Dash
know,
Jack.
Dash Jack. So you know.
All right, guys.
All right, let's do it.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
Peace.
Muppets are winning.